wanted to talk to you today about was how the medicine wheel actually works and how you can work with it. And this is an illustration of the wheel that I work with for the lunar cycle. And in this system, you're born into the center of the wheel, where you stay until you're 3 years old. So that's sort of the incubation. You have a larger incubation time here. You can stay till you're 3. And at the age of 3, you move to the east, and you stay there for 3 years, and then every 3rd year you move a direction. And you go in a clockwise, sunwise direction around the medicine wheel. So here you would be in the east at the age of 3 to 5, 30 to 32, 57 to 59, and 84 to 86. So you can see that if you go around the medicine wheel and come back to the northeast, the next thing you do is you go back into the center. And if you're familiar with astrology, that would be your Saturn return. It's amazing how this coordinates with a lot of other esoteric teachings. And the idea of a Saturn return, that time in your life, is when you have come to understand that you really are no longer a child and you're moving into adulthood. So it's kind of like the holy shit moment when you hit 28. You go, oh, I'm not a kid anymore. But the nice thing is that you get to stay in the center, and metaphorically speaking, the center is the place where all your parts are in balance. So again, it's an incubation time to be into the center of the wheel. So after you go through that incubation time, once again, from 27 to 29, you go on your next journey around the medicine wheel from the east, south, west, north, and back into the center. So the second time you would come around into the center would be 57 to 59. And that's the holy shit moment when we go, oh gosh, I'm no longer middle-aged, I'm moving into being an elder. So we get 3 years to work on that before we go around the circle again.
Are all medicine wheels the same?
No. The biggest change that I have found in studying is the south and the west are somewhat interchangeable. So the south here is the children's lodge and the place of water and the emotions, and in some systems the place of water and the emotions is the west. But in every place I've seen a consistency, with the north being the elders' lodge and the place of wisdom, and the east being the men's lodge and the place of new beginnings and the sunrise. So I had to sort of decide which way to go with this. And the other thing that is different a lot is the colors of the 4 directions. But if you think about the fact that you are the center of the medicine wheel wherever you are, your heart is the center of the medicine wheel. So if you are a Native American Lakota Sioux, you're going to have different connections to the 4 directions than if you are sitting in Florida or South America or any other place in the world. I was working with a woman who had just come back from the desert and doing a vision quest in the desert, and I was explaining to her the 4 directions, and she went, oh no, well that can't be true, because I was sitting in the desert, and to the east of me was the red hills, so she wanted the east to be red. And I think this is just a pattern of an idea. And then you take whatever works for your life and your environment and superimpose it on this. And the idea is to move in a clockwise direction, a sunwise direction. That creates energy. When you take down your medicine wheel, you go in a counterclockwise direction because that diminishes the energy. So as long as you're celebrating the 4 directions, Father Sky and Mother Earth, you can change the colors or do anything you can to play with this and make it your own.
What did you say about diminishing the energy?
Well, a clockwise movement creates energy. It supports it. And a counterclockwise movement diminishes the energy. So we have just the positive and negative aspects of it. So when you're creating a medicine wheel, you always set up in a clockwise direction. So we'd start with the center wheel, or the center stone, and then set these 7 stones around it, which are the 7 stones of initiation. And then you start with the east and go clockwise around. You would then set the south, the west, and the north, and then put in the stepping stones and the sub-directions after that. And then to take the wheel down after you did a ritual and you were done with the wheel, you would start with this stone because that's the last one you placed, and go backwards around the circle. And you can feel it. You can feel it when you actually set up a medicine wheel. And if you're sensitive to energy, you can see and feel that it's an energy vortex. And when you take it down, there's something that's been dispelled and dispersed. So just look at it as an energy center. There are magnetic ley lines that are more powerful areas of the country, and we talked about the spokes before of the Bighorn medicine wheel. And if you go to Goat Rock Beach in Bodega Bay, I've had so many people talk to me about these experiences that they had on Goat Rock Beach, and I believe that not only is that because it's a spoke of the medicine wheel, but also it is on one of those magnetic ley lines. So I think the power places reveal themselves in many different ways in this structure. Well, many of us are more sensitive to these kinds of energies, but I do believe that everybody has the capacity for that sensitivity. We were speaking before of all the things in the world that shut us down from that. And I believe that part of working with this system is your willingness to open that up. So if perhaps 5 years ago you went to one of these sacred places and, just wanted a burger and to get out of there, perhaps you could study and knock on the door, knock on the psychic door, and go back and take time again. We were talking about taking the time for things to marinate and to express themselves. And in our busy lives, we have a tendency to fill up all of our time. And then the inner wisdom has no place to bubble up from. So this would be a place to bubble up and then go back to that sacred place and see if you have a different experience.
What would you